This is Scott Patrick, and also with me is Chris, another designer. Quick run through on viscam for you. You're going to want to open it up, and the first thing is go to Process, Define Machine. You're going to find your Digital Wax 028 and the type of resin that you've got. You probably have the 500 or the 550, whichever applies. Go ahead and choose it and then choose Apply. You'll then go to File, Open, and find the STL file that you're going to build. This already has to be supported, as we spoke about in your CAD, and we'll talk more about that in another video maybe. And so we've chosen our STL and open it up. You'll see down in the lower left here, model contains no holes. Also an information screen. Yours is going to look slightly different. I don't have my upgraded version available on this system here, but it will give you information. You'll OK on that. If in fact you've got mismatched edges or separate different surfaces, you will go over here on the left, and this won't be grayed out the way it is here. You'll click Match Edges. Your progress bar will go across the bottom here, and you'll then it will come back and tell you either that it has no holes or that maybe it has less mismatched edges, in which case you click this again until it won't lower those mismatched edges any further, and at that point you'll fill holes. Ultimately, you want model contains no holes. If you've got a model that hasn't been completely Boolean before it left your CAD program, you can do a Unify Solids over here on the left. So our model is looking good, other than the fact that it's black. Sometimes they'll come in that way, in which case you go to Facets and down to Modify Colors and Define Color. I'll generally pick a color up here like so and go OK. Next thing you want to do is go to Process. We're pretty much going to be using Process the whole time, and we show the build envelope. This shows where your piece is in relation to the envelope. By holding down my left mouse button, I'm able to roll it around like that, and to zoom in and out I can use my roller on my mouse. Also over here under Object Manager, we've got our ring, our main hierarchy here. This is we'll call this the queen, and the subjects are underneath here. If you're not seeing this Object Manager and the Undo Manager, please go up here to Options and check those here under that menu. Alrighty, so we've got a good model. What we're going to do is again go to Process and Z Compensation, and a value will pop up here. We click OK. You'll see your progress bar at the bottom, and your model contains no holes. If it does contain holes, again you would go over here to Match Edges and Fill Holes. So let's go back here to Process, and now we compensate shrinkage, and this brings up the machine definitions. We hit Apply to that. This compensates for the actual resin shrinkage itself. So back to Process, and now it's time to generate slices. We choose our layer thickness. 0.03 is generally a really good layer thickness to work with. There's sometimes, like on a big thicker model, that you'll want to go to 0.04 or 0.05. One thing that you will have to do each time is start slicing at and change that to 0. The different compensations actually drove part of this piece below the Z0, and that's why it gave a negative number. But you always want to start slicing at 0. Also, we want to delete the triangle data after slicing. That's your STL triangle information. It'll help make your file smaller and more manageable. We hit OK here, and notice now we do in fact have our piece sliced. I show a lot of slices, you probably won't. I've got under Options and Slice Options, I'm showing every slice. I believe the default is to show every 10 slices, in which case your model will look like this. Even though it looks like this, though, it's still showing only every 10 slices, and it is in fact much finer. So now that we've got it sliced, we go down to Generate Hatches, and we choose OK. This generates basically the laser path for the model, and we've got it now right here. If in fact we wanted more than one part on here, we would go down to Setup, and that changes your interface. So we've got Repair Mode and Setup Mode. When you're in Setup Mode, you can hold your cursor over the model, right click, and choose Duplicate. And this then will duplicate however many numbers you want. Let's put 2. That'll add 2 more parts to our layout. We're ready to go ahead and grow at this point, but if in fact you wanted to move or rotate anything, that would be possible by choosing, for example, Pick and Move, and you can then move your pieces around in the platform. This is very helpful if you've been growing all your pieces in the middle. Your tray is going to get fogged, so you'll want to grow them in a different position. So now the only thing left to do then, as long as you make sure that this hierarchy is clicked, this will then include all of your parts. You go to File, Save As, and this saves it as an MKR file, and at that point all you need to do is simply save it. The save actually will take a few minutes because it is assembling all of the data that you've put together, so it's not just a click and a quick save. I hope that helped you out and going to get you started. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks a bunch.